So I had an idea. I wanted to see how many of you guys knew something about this or could back me up or point me in the right direction. I have recently started working with a child who is autistic. He is close to nonverbal but does say some words. And working with this child has been the most rewarding thing I've done in a while. Now, not to say that my job is not rewarding, it really is. I get to work with 50 or more amazing students. Some of them are doing artist development, some of them are writing songs, some of them are doing it for their own enrichment, meaning entertainment, and ages of all kind. But this child's, the mom, when she contacted me for the voice lessons, had very low expectations, and I can very much connect with that. I have noticed that in working with autistic kids, especially those that are nonverbal or close to nonverbal, I tend to be able to create miracles, and I can connect with them on a level that maybe the parent hasn't seen before. I can definitely say that because I do have an autistic teenager. She is high functioning. However, I did not know she was autistic until she was about 11 years old. And then even so, it took me years to save up enough money to get her the formal diagnosis of autistic. So I had to fight a lot of battles, and a lot of people didn't believe me and thought that she was just ill-behaved. And that was tough. So I feel like the patience that grew inside of me as a parent, being able to stand up for her, especially when I didn't know what was wrong, and then I had to fight for other people to understand and believe what was wrong. I have a certain level of a patience with autistic children, and this child specifically the mom had very, very low expectations when she signed him up for voice lessons. She asked for voice therapy or music therapy, and I definitely would say that what I do is along the levels of therapy, because a child who cannot use their voice has a lot of issues with communication. It's hard for them to fully kind of get other people to see where they're at and what they're trying to communicate. So being able to use your voice, whether it be singing or speaking, is very therapeutic for that child. When I first started working with this kid, he didn't have much reaction to what I was doing. And he has sensory and he has low function on being able to use his hands and his feet and his tongue to create positions and so forth. But after working with him for 4 weeks, he went from saying one word at a time to actually singing melodies. Not long melodies, but enough melodies. And from only saying one word at a time, like it is the ball, to it is the ball. And that is a really big deal to a parent who has been working with their child their whole life to do something like that. It's really touching. And from a child who has a hard time with their fingers and making movements, to being able to play all the C's and the D's on the piano and say C and D while playing it, it was really cool. I really appreciated that moment. And the mom looking at me like, how did you do that? So that's not the first time that I've experienced creating pretty amazing things with autistic kids. And I'm really grateful for my beautiful daughter who taught me so much about parenting and so much for standing up for her in other situations. That I have such a love and connection for those kids. And I really think that I want to create some type of nonprofit to be able to work with more autistic children, because I know for me, it took me years to get my child diagnosed with autism because of how expensive it was. And for me personally, I had to get her insurance through her biological father, who was in the military, and that took a long time because she at the time hadn't been in his custody as much, although that's changed a lot, and I'm very grateful for him at this moment. I would love to be able to do something like that for different schools or groups and whatever ages, whether they be young or old, to help those children and those adults or even teens find out how capable they are, because They are. They're super capable. I think that it's just kind of meeting them on their level and breaking it down enough and giving them enough love and enough adoration to do what they're really capable of. If you guys have any data or information about how to create a nonprofit for working with autistic children in the area of singing and music and piano, please send me a comment or send me a message, and I would love to connect. Okay, thanks.